Hello there, my fellow civil engineers. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Mistpaw Ravine. Episode 3, Terraforming New Waterways. I will need to readjust litter boxes. I haven't done that in a little while, so this litter box will go down for the miners, and then we'll have another litter box up here. Maybe one here. My litter box coverage that I'm going to have for a while is going to be a little weird because we don't have a lot of terrain unlocked. To be improved, of course. Alright. Ancient lighthouse. I'm going to have you guys choose. So, we can dismantle it for building supplies for 100 wood, or use it as a power source, and it will generate power for us for free. So this ancient relic appears to be what remains of an ancient lighthouse. There's a faint energy inside that our workers don't like. They say it's icky. Well, we're going to keep it anyway. Let's move this bad boy. Over here. And there it is. Generating free power. Love it. Relics can be very powerful, as you may have noticed. So we're doing a pretty good job of pushing the fog back while trying to remain not stinky. Guess what? I made a little invention of my own. It's a simple delivery system. My fist to your face. Except the fist, in this case, is called lightning. Heard of it? Your cats are gonna love it. Wait, what? Grow Gary, why? Jerk. Yes, he is zapping us with lightning. So the zapped cats have speed severely decreased. Severely decreased for the duration of 10 minutes of the debuff. Well, I'm unlocking cat well-being. So this allows us to grow fruit, which is a new type of food. And we can grill fruit to grilled fruit. So fruit on its own raw can't be eaten. And then also a scratching post. So what I'm going to do here is rip up a sizable swath of our rads. Now, the reason not to rip up all the rads, if you open up the cat happiness, fulfilling rads adds happiness, fulfilling grilled fruit adds happiness. You don't want to replace fruit for rads because then you miss out on the happiness of rads. So you want to do both, not one or the other. So my fruit going here. And at some point we might want like another farmhouse. It really depends on supply and demand. I think we're getting to the point where it would be wise to employ another one. So for that, to that end, I'm going to build another farmhouse and plop it here. Yeah, here works. To cover this little swath here. Actually, no, that's fine. They won't have a lot of work to do, but like once I can fix that by potentially irrigating this little pond and then expanding their access to irrigated soil. All right, and the other half of this is we got to grill the fruit for it to matter. So let's go ahead and set up a fruit grill. I'll plop it here. And then we want to set up a large stockpile for the fruit and a small stockpile for the grilled fruit. The most important stockpile right now is the crystal one, so I can phase out the old one. Alright, tier 3 requires them to be 8 happy, which is going to require us to grill fruit for food, as you may have imagined. So we'll push towards that, but like it's going to take a minute for us to get there. Found another relic. Okay, the stockpile for the crushed crystal is in. We'll delete the old one. And I don't really need the grill built soon because the fruit still has to mature. It's not useful until it matures. But what I can do as a possibility is to irrigate here. And then we'll move the mini discharger here to open up more of the space. And I'll even put my woodcutters to work in here to clear the area. Basically working on irrigating more terrain for farming. Now with that, we may need to collect more mist via mist collectors to keep the additional irrigation going. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. All right, there's the new water spout. And it's going to easily fill this entire ravine because it's a finite area. Ooh, an enchanted farmhouse. Perfect. Enchanted farmhouses allow us to hire more people. So faster move speed and planting times than standard farmhouses. Count me in. Upgrade me away. I probably need to put another litter box around the area around here because I see some are stinky. And I don't have a lot of free workers, noted. We're doing a pretty good job of balancing our budget. I am low on regular wood though. With that said, I do have tons and tons of extra planks, which means that we're not turning a lot of wood into planks. And yet another relic found. So the next big jump is Cat Happiness 8, as I mentioned. And let's get a scratching post. And the scratching post I'm going to place here to cover all the original homes because it has a larger sphere of influence. And this requires 30 crystals, 30 planks, so it's rather expensive, which is why you don't want to make too many duplicates of it. Our lumberjacks do a good job of land clearing around the enchanted farmhouse. And that will allow us to, oops, that shouldn't be fruit. It should be rads. We'll keep planting rads. And that way we don't have any, like, hunger problems. At least that's the idea. And then I'll have a mana discharger working in the bottom here to try to keep the mist at bay so it doesn't encroach on the southern farm now. Have I built the poop master? I have not yet, no. Oh. Shoot. This pylon needs to be closer. Fruit and grilled fruit. Rust crystal. There we go. Alright, now we have a fruit grill. Good. And we're just removing the last of the trees that are covering up the irrigated area, but we're... Oh, you know, I just realized... Yeah, we can't plant... here. It's fine. I could actually move the farmhouse here once this tree's cleared. To be done. I could maybe force this lumberjack to clear the... Yeah, if I put a well, they'll probably just cut down those trees. I'll just try to keep them as close to that tree that I want cut down more than any others. Ooh, collected mana. Nice. Now, one thing you may have noticed is my available mist is going down. So we'll need to have our mist collectors reemployed for irrigation purposes. But that's pretty easy to fit, an easy fix. I'm not worried about that. We found a relic down here, but then I think it immediately got covered up by the mist again. That's fine. Ooh. Yeah, we're getting grilled fruit. We do have a bit of a food shortage, as I'm sure you can see. So I'm going to prioritize the farmhouses as the highest priority things to manage. We're not at zero food, but I'm happy that I, like, ramped up the irrigated areas because it was needed. And total food is up here, so we have like 38 meals between Froop and Radrat. We almost have that tree that's blocking me cleared. Almost. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm making pretty good use of the landmass for farming. And I think the stinky cats are like... Yeah, they're the cats that are down here. So I'll move the litter boxes around a little bit for better coverage. So the way I am missing 8 happiness at the moment is the scratching post, so I'm going to raise that up to high priority. We have the crushed crystal blocks for it. We just need to deliver them, and we'll be in the money. Yeah, our farmers are just like absolutely working overtime. But the good news is our total amount of food available is going in the correct direction. So I'm not super worried. Now, one thing I will need to do is to collect more mist. So I'm going to fire some of the mist dischargers in lieu of hiring them as mist collectors so that I can have more mist available to me for resources. Alright, scratching post. Almost done. Sweet. Three more blocks and it is finished. And we have a lot of mana in order to invest in tier 3 research once happiness goes up. Done! Alright, first is ink processing. We can extract ink from ink nodes. We can pour ink into ravines, and it produces enough ink to fill a 3x3 ravine. We can purify it, converts mist extract and ink into water, produces enough water to fill a 7x7 ravine. Mana shrooms generates mana when harvested, only grows in gloom creep, and gloomy path. So the first thing we're going to want to do is to extract the ink so that we can use it. So here's the ink extractor, and it has to be placed on an ink node, like this one. And it will also need to be powered, so I'll put a pile on there as well. And one thing that we could potentially do is replace our water spouts with a purified spout. So that instead of 2 low-tier spouts, we have a higher-tier spout once we're collecting ink. And then the other thing we're going to need is ink storage. So I'm actually going to change one of these liquid storages from mist to ink, because these mist storages are empty anyway. Is it possible to push one corner of the dark mist back so you could concentrate the production? Production of what? Of ink? Or of mist? I'm not, like, certain what you're asking. Oh, yeah. Well, you can concentrate your production of mist by just putting a bunch of your, like, mist collectors next to the encroaching mist. So doing it like this, where we have 3 mist collectors here, we'll just keep harvesting this mist. Now, the reason I haven't been doing that, if you're wondering, is the mist comes in at all angles, so you might as well just have your mist collectors just, like, protect your whole livable area rather than just like keep fighting an impossible wall of regenerating mist. But basically, mist is infinite. You're not going to run out of mist. It's just like how you want to go about collecting it is really the determining factor, I would say. All right, the next research here is terraforming. So we'll be able to create ravines, fill in ravines, and grow gloom trees. And this one is pretty important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start terraforming our own pond. And we fill this in with crushed crystal and ink. So we need ink for this. So let's prioritize our ink extractor. Also, I'm going to prioritize the home for cats because we don't have a lot of workforce at the moment. Yay, more adults. So we have 3 kittens yet to grow up, but even more in the workforce, super helpful. Alright, here it is, the ink extractor. Yeah, I see the lost litter box. Not too worried about it, I have a mist collector just next to it. So now we're extracting ink, and we can turn ink into water or ink into ravine fill. And I'm going to do a bit of both. Next research is gloom power at 800. Got it. So here we can change the terrain of the ravines to better suit our needs. And that's really helpful because these water spouts and fillers, they only fill a certain amount. Oh, the other thing is I am over my power max. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to destroy both water spouts that I got here and to put a purified water spout instead. And maybe what I'll do is let's remove that spot. And I'll put the purified spout here as the highest priority. Like the build now. Because otherwise our farm dries up. Ooh, an enchanted ink extractor, which does not need workers. Automated. Alright, haulers are doing a good job of delivering all the necessary materials. And that should have us avoid the, like, calamity of mass crop die-off. So these purifier spouts can fill a 7x7 ravine, so they're a lot more efficient than their lower tier versions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start designing the terrain. So the explosions here require gloom, which is the cut down gloom trees. And here we go. We have a choice. A time before, you see a vision of an ancient civilization. Figures on brooms like yours shoot across the sky. They travel through windows to other lands. A cat comes into view. It wields a weapon against its master's enemies. You're reminded of stories you've heard as a kitten. Stories of cats who worked not for themselves, but for those who did not deserve it. As the vision fades, you feel a pull at your thoughts. We can think about food or wood, and we get whatever related resource. Wood? Got it. Alright, we have a gloom storm coming in. Keep an eye on that. And detonate! So I'm changing, fundamentally, the run of the river, or the ravine, to maximize water per tile, or whatever you want to call it. And we're filling in and irrigating and expanding. Because what I would like to do is to have like the most efficient possible irrigation as I can muster, so that we don't need to waste a lot of power and resources. Speaking of power, I don't have a lot of it, but power and resources to that end. So speaking of power, let's go and pause the enchanted mana accumulator, because it's not necessary to keep that running right now. Plus, it was stupidly placed where I could be farming. In fact, one might even suggest I move the town hall. I'm going to move it here so that I can reclaim this for farming. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Shoot. And we're going to need more gloom trees in order to keep blowing stuff up. So I'm going to put this worker cutting down the gloom trees. I'm going to put all of them, actually, because we're using a lot of the gloom. And then this purifier spout is no longer under the sphere of influence of the town hall. Oh, I see. I'll put the town hall here. It reaches. Okay, good. So now we're irrigating again. Alright, I've connected the north and southern ravines. And this spout covers 7x7 tiles. So I'm hoping is that it will cover enough tiles that I will only need the one. So for now, I'm going to get rid of this old spout and see if this one can handle all of our irrigation. It should be able to handle 49. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So yeah, it can handle almost like more than twice of what we're currently irrigating. Shan't be a problem. It would also allow us to irrigate. I'm going to possibly irrigate further up north, so that we can do more forestry up north. But we definitely don't have any food problems. We were down to like 10, and we have 140 now, and it's only going to go up as we continue. So, to that end, let's blow up some more land. Some of these trees here are dying because they lack water. So we'll get water to them. We're only breaking even for power at the moment, so I have to conserve power unless I want to burn more wood for power. Alright, that should help the trees up top. Oh, but that needs to be filled. There also will be, I think, because of the way the river's running, there will be a natural shift of these trees over here won't grow. Because we're irrigating more to the right, not the left. So I'm going to have to move where we're growing trees up this way. But yeah, there we go. Not all of them are irrigated, but it's better. Now, this pump is struggling supplying water to this spot here. So this might, despite the fact that it, well, I think it's because of lack of ink. I think it's a supply issue more than anything else. Possibly, it's hard to tell for now. These farmers are just like, oh my god, so many crops. But yeah, we don't have any food shortages, which is good. That'd be of the greatest concern. So, consolidating our irrigating to one upgraded purifier spout, we aren't suffering with the... Oh god, I just noticed. Hey, Hummus, sorry. He's been trying to collect... mist so deep in the deep mist because during gloom storms the like super mist expands pretty fast. To that end, I need to enable a mist discharger to discharge around the enchanted ink extractor because the enchanted ink extractor is getting like way overrun as well. I'm also going to enable another mist discharger, because yeah, this mist is encroaching quick. So the next big unlock is at 800. That's what we're saving up towards, and yay, the gloom's gone. So there's a few trees over here that just aren't getting watered. Might as well just tear them up, because they're not going to grow. Some of that is because of the curve in this river is like an inefficient way to irrigate. But we've got wood. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, we're getting pretty close to gloom power. Gloom power allows us to turn gloomwood into a lot of power. It's a very expensive building to build, and I'm not planning necessarily on implementing it. Another thing to note is the dense fog has expanded. So keeping more of the magic enchanters would not necessarily be a bad idea. So I'm going to hire even more, or build more homes to expand our population, to then collect more mana through mist discharging. So I'd rather get mana through mist discharging than through enchanted mana accumulator, because I know we're just constantly struggling to hold back everything. Moonglade tree. One of our woodcutters discovered this decaying trunk of an unreasonably large gloom tree. It did not give up the same feeling of unease as the typical ones do. So we got 30 gloom fuel off of that, which is not bad. I think I'm going to have my woodcutters clear more of the dead trees that I'm not growing myself, and then have this woodcutter try to focus on the gloom trees up here. There's another ink node spot here. It's worth noting, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but, oh, and let's get gloom power. It's worth noting that there is not a lot of reason to harvest this stuff until it won't harm you regularly. So now we have gloom power. I'm not planning on using it, but the last upgrade here is ravine building, which allows us to make a water feature, which upgrades happiness, which unlocks tier 4, and a deep collector, which collects mix extracts from ravines and the large liquid storage. So moving forward, we are probably going to need to add a water feature to our homes, and once we unlock that tech, we'll incorporate it appropriately. Easier said than done, though. I'm sort of curious, if I fill this in, will it kill off the westmost radrads? I guess we'll see. And now we have almost an entire population of adult cats, so we have a lot more workers available, which is good. Yep, it did kill off those radrads. I think what I'm going to do is redesign the farm to be a little bit more efficient rather than the way it's going on right now. I'd rather have less room, but like more water efficiency. Less farmable land, I should say. So to that end, I'm going to move my farmhouses here. Actually, up a little bit. Here. And then move it like here. So I'm going to fill this in, and it's going to cause a bit of disruption before it's fixed. Because the river won't flow properly until it's reworked. So the easternmost line of fruits will get cleared as well. Plants can survive a little bit when they're not irrigated, but like eventually that will fade. So, so now as a result, there's some more irrigated soil up this way, as you can see. Which is good for the tree farm, and it's just like a little bit more straightforward. Our own farms. It's just easier to manage, I think. Hey, sorry about before, you know, with the lightning. It's a lot of pressure running a settlement. All these cats complaining about poop and whatever. But then, what the heck? Someone else has a settlement? That everyone loves? Nah, man, that ain't cool. And it makes me mad. So mad. Mad enough to destroy them with lightning. Bruh. Grow Gary, why? Alright, well, he zapped the crap out of us. Again. Dude is a bit of a pain. Thank you for tuning in to Mistpaw Ravine, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I'll have to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow magical cats.